Hey guys, what's up? Bisectatron here from OneHive Gazette, here with the next kind of miscellaneous defensive video, but this is definitely an important one. A lot of you guys are still struggling at Town Hall 9 to defend against especially the first attack, which is understandable because Town Hall 9 is really favored towards the attacker right now in terms of at least the top war clans. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about how to defend against HGHB, and that's a very dominant strategy at Town Hall 9. Now, I know I talked about P.E.K.K.A.s replacing Giants in this strategy, and we see that to an extent, but mainly we still see quite a bit more HGHB attacks than the HGHP, which are or the HBHP or whatever. The ones that use P.E.K.K.A.s aren't as common as the ones that use Giants. And because people still use Giants a lot, in this video I'm going to teach you guys the best way to defend against that attack strategy, and it's centered around taking out the Giants because they're the tanking. They do damage to your defenses, and that's one thing that's overlooked. They don't just tank. They also do quite a bit of damage to defenses, especially under rage. They can get through walls pretty quickly, and they'll take out defenses. They're tanky. They're hard to get rid of. So let's talk a little bit about kind of what the Giants' weakness is, which is spring traps. That's kind of the basis of this little part of a base which I created. It's just what would be the bottom corner, I guess, of your base, but we'll talk a lot about kind of how it's set up, and there's a few different things, not just kind of the spring traps, but there's a few different things that's set up in this base, just in this part of the base, to take out an HGHB attack. And first things first, I put the sweeper in the wrong spot, so just give me a moment as I fix this. The sweeper should be like that. Let's talk a little bit about kind of why this base is set up this way. The first thing that you might notice is that the attacker almost always in an HGHB attack, this wall is bothering me. Come on, move over. What? Now my screen's freezing up. There we go. The first thing that you might notice in an HB attack is that the attacker almost always comes at the bottom by these heroes, and when that happens, that's basically how they're going to take out your heroes first when they still have the power of their attack. So by setting your base up this way with both heroes, it's no matter what the rest of your base looks like, they'll almost always start at the bottom here to take out your heroes. And look how we have this mortar right here. That'll become important later. But the point is, they'll most likely come in for this mortar. It could be moved over a little bit too, just to ensure they go for it. But because the Giants are going to be attracted to that, they'll probably come in from that side of the base on the mortar, and that's going to be pretty important. But look at how the Giant pathing works. They're most likely not going to use a jump because you typically don't use jumps, and this base isn't too tricky on the pathing, so they shouldn't use a jump. They'll let their Giants enter the base, take out these two defenses, then they're going to go for this archer tower, because you have this little gap in here, this little dead space, which is a buffer so that the Giants don't go over to that side of the base. And also we have this storage here, so these two defenses are farther back and away from the wall. So it's going to be pretty much certain that if they do enter the base from this side, which they most likely will, the Giants are going to go for this archer tower. And look at these spring traps we have set up by the Teslas. The Teslas kind of add another level of uncertainty. They don't know there's going to be Teslas there, so they don't know there's going to be spring traps there or anything. So it just makes it a little bit harder for them to identify what exactly the base is trying to do. So these four spring traps, and you can add even more layers of this if you just want to completely commit to taking out Giants. But each spring trap can take out potentially 3 Giants. So that's a total of 12 Giants, which is typically the number of Giants people bring. So theoretically, all 12 Giants could go flying. They probably all won't, but a good portion of their Giants will go down in this scenario. So if they come at the base from the bottom, unless they bring a jump to like direct the troops off to this side, which would be kind of awkward, that's the direction the troops are going, and they're going to be losing quite a few Giants. Might not, definitely break the attack, but it will hurt it enough to give you a good chance of defending. So anyway, another thing this base does, besides the small bombs here to kill wall breakers, but that's nothing new. Take a look at the air defense placement. And this is also why the mortar's here. You want them coming at this part of the base down here, at these walls. You want them entering there, because this air defense can't be sniped by the queen. It won't be hit by bowlers, obviously, because there's nothing for the first bounce to hit in this compartment. so that air defense won't go down, but it's just going to be sitting there, and hopefully it'll reach the healers. And if you can get the healers down, that's another important part of the HGHB attack to disarm. It'll really hurt the attack. So the healers will most likely be trailing the giants, and this air sweeper also is going to push them over towards the air defense. That's an important part of this also. Not only is the angle set up so that the healers will most likely cross the path of this air defense, but just to ensure that will happen, the air sweeper pushes them over towards the air defense to make sure they get taken out. Now, a good attacker might try to come in from this part of the base here. They still have this problem that doesn't solve that problem with the spring traps, but to avoid the air defense, they might try to do that. So, I mean, you can move this, towards this angle to try to push them a little farther, but include this part of the base. And also you can move the mortar to a little more of a central location just to make it harder for them to drop stuff all the way over here. That might be a good way to do it. It's up to you guys, however you think you can get it done. But the point is, you want them to enter the base from a certain side of your hero compartment so that the air defense can't be taken out, but it can reach the healers. And it's kind of important to have the dead space, because if you do have a building here or something, bowlers could get it, and on the second bounce it might take out the air defense. That's a choice you have to make. It is kind of unlikely. It could happen, so that's up to you guys how you want to do it. But anyway, this base could work very well, at least this kind of setup of the bottom here. I encourage you guys to come up with a design similar. I wouldn't copy it, because whenever something's out on YouTube, there's typically going to be people who are going to be figuring out ways to beat it. So it's up to you guys how you want to deal with what I just created. But once again, just to summarize, the important things to have here is the hero chamber that has these two, the mortar or whatever defense, I guess. You could do another defense, but typically the mortar on one side, have the dead space and the air defense on that same side. And I'll go into photo mode real quick, just for the sake of this, to give a better view. And the air sweeper pushing the healers towards that air defense. You can move it one more over too. And finally having probably most importantly, this little strip that most likely the giants will path into, and the Teslas, the spring traps, you can use 3 to 6 spring traps really to take out those giants. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. This will probably be uploaded sometime on the weekend, so I'm going to go ahead and say that now. But thanks for watching, and good luck with your base at Town Hall 9 and defending against HGHB. Bisect to Toronto.